So how to get, what the question was is like other exercises that can help to get you in that straight line. So there's a really nice, you lie down and you're trying to do a handstand, trying to have open shoulders in a back bend or a handstand. So you get the spine as long as you can. You raise your arms and you stretch. And what we normally find is normally the ribs pop, quite common, very common. Okay, so start with knees bent and ribs down, stomach in, and hugging. It's like you're kind of pulling the hip bones up and towards each other. Then you hold it stable there at the base and the arms can go. Now, shoulder blades down, ribs down. Strong in the upper core, upper abdomen. Now, hug the lower base muscles, like your sit bones, hug them towards each other and start to see how much you can straighten it out without losing. So you play the game and you feel the glutes, thighs, press the pelvis forward and breathe. Now, I always tell my students, you know you're ready and it's all good when you can pop up. Okay. And you know you're holding your pelvis right if you can do it going back down. So in the beginning, my pelvis was, that's how I discovered it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm doing great. It's like, well, now I go half. Okay. The pelvis has to control it from the stomach. So lift in the stomach. Now when you start going out, get the glutes. So I get longer. I get longer in the lower back. It would actually be, so ultimately what would be better is to be long from the get-go. So even in this position, not to be shortened, but to be lengthened. Now my pelvis is just going to curl with the strength of my belly. Okay. This little strap was my great healer. The length that I needed actually didn't come from suppleness, it came from strength. So if I need more length in my lower back, it comes from pulling, pushing. And the straps just gave me that feeling so quickly. Okay, so I lie down, pushing into the strap, and there you can see the roundness that you're creating, the length from your toes all the way the back of your body, making it longer. Then try and keep the pelvis there as you stretch your arms out. Okay. I used to do leg raises with this as well, instead of without, because then my pelvis would be more active and I would be able to get out of the tension of my neck, because I'm coming from ribs in, and you get the glutes, the stomach is working, shoulders are relaxing as best they can. Okay, so it's really strength in the legs, pushing out. So it's quite a thing, especially if you, like for example, in the Ashtanga, they walk the hands towards the feet. Now always when we get a back bend closer, we kind of want to walk the feet to the hands, because the hands have got more weight. And according to them, they say the feet should have weight. Of course, if you're starting to practice coming up from a back bend to stand on your feet should be taking the weight. So the practice, I really hated this, but it was good medicine. My teacher would force me to do back bends with something between my thighs, because my knees, of course, that's a perfect indication of tight hip flexor. So maybe I've just got the answer for you. Tight hip flexor, because the feet don't want to stay in a parallel position, because then it has to open up there. And if your leg does that, so kids often do it. They do crab and they go, yeah, I'm going to come up. So they just push up, and they push up on the insides of their feet, because the hip flexor doesn't want to know that openness or, over the front of the hip. Okay, so practicing to get the leg and power down and pushed I'm still working on it. Cool. So we try and squeeze. So you can even use a yoga block. This one I would actually want a bit bigger, more blown up, and make it wider and stronger, so I can push even more hard against it. But that also again goes back to opening the lower back and lifting the hip bones. So squeeze in to able to push the pelvis. So I'm going to show you a little exercise. Now you can use a ball, you can use a bolster, you can use a yoga wheel, like anything that raises your hips so that your legs go into a bridge on the other side. I'm going to just do it ultimately because it's higher and it's fun. Now, lifting up, so I'm not just like arching onto it. Shoulder blades are relaxed, ribs are down. So this is what I like about this. The ribs can't be naughty. Okay, now get my glutes as if I'm extending through with my elastic band on my legs. And then I take the one leg over. So, yeah, you just want to try and prevent that. To kind of fight lifting the hip bones and sending the other leg down. But you're kind of pushing your bum this way. So I'm allowing it to come off a little bit. Of course, that's me trying to get to the floor, and my flexibility is finished. Let's try this exercise. You take a windowsill or just a piece of wall, and you're going to rotate the hip. So I'm lifting up in the belly, and I rotate it completely open over, but my shoulders stay the same. And then you roll it as deep towards each other as you can, the two legs. You roll, turn it in. And it's weird because you don't feel your hip flexor. Now, I'm not even sure how this works. The bio gave it to me, and I'm not even sure if it's like that openness that's doing the work, or is it, I just remember the first time I did it, this inner rotation really got me. So 5, I'm going to do 3 just to not make this video so long, but you can definitely work up to 5. Okay. On each leg. Let's see. For interest, what it feels like now. Open up that leg. Sure, lower back still on it. Feels, wow, quite a big difference. Now my foot's flat. My lower back's much closer to the wheel than it was. And I'm not actually even doing the mechanism of like squeeze the bum, try and open up the hip. I'll really thank my bio for giving me that exercise, and maybe that's what's going to help you too. Yeah, definitely feels quite different. Good. So for me, if the shoulders are not the tight thing, I'm thinking then, and the lat, and the length that you get when you lie down, if it's not the shortening happening in the top, then it must be the shortening happening in the lower back. To get that lower back to be able to relax. So that's why I was thinking, is it the glute muscles, and maybe even in conjunction with the abdominal muscles. So for me, I would do those muscle activations, the glutes and the abs. And then I would do it with the one next to the navel, the one on the hip, and then just massaging that and see what happens, and let life teach you further. Cool. Thank you for watching. Namaste.